Howdy y'all, Coach Corey here from Xtra Mile Fitness, and I'm joined today with
Dr. Nathan from Spinal Care St. Louis. Corey, what's a few common errors that you see in the lifting world?
Absolutely. Today what I kind of want to dive into is probably the most common thing I see when it comes to squats or when it comes to like pressing overhead is the loss of our midline. And what this ends up creating is unnecessary movement of the low back under load, which as we both know can cause low back injuries, and that's what we want to try to avoid. And I would say that's the most common thing I see amongst the general population or even experienced weightlifters. So what I'm going to have Dr. Nathan do is just stand in front of the bar, and before he even picks the bar up, kind of what I'm discussing today is if we were doing an overhead press, it's the easiest one to show. I often see people that open up here and create this big arch in the low back. The other area it shows up a lot, and what I would say is even more common, is at the bottom of a squat, people let their hips roll under, and it creates kind of a butt wink where the low back. Let's see if Dr. Nathan can mimic that. It's kind of hard to mimic if you're not used to it, but when you get to the bottom of the squat, if you ever feel your hips roll under, that's what we're gonna work to fix today also. So I'm going to have us start with the overhead press, and Dr. Nathan's going to pick the bar up, and the cause of that arch actually comes from the rib cage and your core. So before you do a lift, an overhead press, a squat, what we want to do is walk through our sequence of bracing. So he's going to squeeze his biscuits, and then he's going to take the biggest belly of air to expand his belly out. The key now comes in. He's going to take his bottom two ribs and tuck them into his belly. And then from there, he's going to press straight overhead. And if you notice now, he's nice and tight. Go ahead and bring that down. Now what I'm going to have him do is demo one where he doesn't lock the lower two ribs down. So now he braces, but his rib is open, and now he's going to press. And he has this arch in the back where now if he pulls down, it corrects that arch. Good. Go ahead and relax. And so with the overhead press, the big thing we want to focus on is that rib cage pulling down. But when it comes to squats, we want the exact same thing. So if he was going to squat, and again, we can't really make him mimic the butt wink if it doesn't happen. But what it is he's going to squeeze his biscuit, squeeze his belly. Same thing here. Before we squat, he's going to pull that rib cage into his belly and then lower into that squat. And notice how his back stays nice and flat. We never want to see those hips roll under the squat, and then he stands. Awesome, go ahead and relax. So if you, notice that when you squat or when you press that you make these movements, practice tucking that rib cage with light weight or no weight to improve that movement. And also, if you ever get done pressing or squatting and you have low back pain, that's probably a sign that you're losing that bracing and your lumbar is taking the load. And over time, that's going to lead to back pain that we just don't want to experience. So mix this in. And as always, if you have other questions about your health and fitness, always reach out to us at Xtra Mile Fitness or Dr. Nathan at Spinal Care St. Louis. We're here to help you live the healthiest life you can.